Peace, love, light, and blessings, y'all. What's going on? It's your brother Key, and welcome to my workshop. I am very happy that you all are watching this video, and this should be another another healthy, just like advisory video. I'm not a therapist in any way. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I don't have any of those degrees, but I have done some, some behavior analyzing, some critical thinking on this topic, and I've seen both sides of it, and I personally believe that this should be a very informative video and help somebody. So, transparency is very important when you're coming to terms with your reality and things that you're doing in your life. It's very important to put forth transparency when you are working on yourself, when you are looking to improve your quality of life, whether that truly be with yourself or with anybody else, right? And I personally believe that you should be transparent with yourself first and practice it with yourself first before you can be transparent with anybody else. It's just like forgiveness and love. It's just like any of those things. Now, transparency is something that can be, very, it could fluctuate if you don't have some type of emotional intelligence or check on it, because sometimes you may undershare or you may overshare depending on what you're being transparent about. And in today's day and age, like where everybody wants to protect themselves, where at one point the world was completely shut down, everybody was in a box, everybody was in a hole, and we could not connect with humans. And then when we did come back out, well, human beings, other God beings, when we could not be within 6 feet of one another, like we couldn't actually really be, connected, and that taught a certain unhealthy disconnect. It didn't teach us an unhealthy disconnect. I would say that it made it okay to be disconnected. And me, I've always been a person that thrives being around, other healthy individuals, the way everybody should. Everybody, somebody's circle, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 people, right? And somebody else's circle, maybe 40 people, depending on who you are, your daily activities, what you get done, and what's your requirements, your responsibilities, etc. And transparency is necessary in order to keep these things, fully operational, to keep your relationship, all of them, operational, especially with yourself. Now, what I would say about transparency, and I said this earlier, I said transparency is you have to have emotional control in order to be transparent with yourself and with other people. Because if you let's say, for example, you're really happy, right, about something, like maybe you got a promotion at work, maybe you figured out a new idea and you start to implement it and it starts to work out, and you want to tell everybody. That could be good and bad, right? Because if you go to the right people, they'll be like, oh snap, that's what's up. They'll put more gas in your tank. They'll charge your battery up, okay, what's the next step? What are your plans for the future? If you go to the wrong person or wrong people, what can happen is they can be detrimental to the process. They can set a flame to your house and the things that you may love. And that's a comes with some intelligence, like who are your allies, who are the people that care about you, who doesn't care about you, or maybe it can get a little more complicated than that, because when we have people that care about us and people that love us, but they don't really see what we want to see, I mean what our vision is, that can cause some type of friction when you're being transparent. Okay, so I would say a few things that you can really do to exercise healthy transparency is learning what is the objective of you being transparent, or what is the objective of you, like, what are you trying to achieve? Anytime somebody wants to improve their life, they say the first step is acknowledgement, which is basically transparency. Like, you have to acknowledge and be transparent with yourself, like, okay, this is the situation, or this is where I'm at, and this is where I would like to go. Like, you have to bridge the gap. Okay, and when you bridge that gap, what happens now is you have a starting point. The journey, pardon me, plane flying. The journey begins. Okay, but if you never acknowledge where you're at, or if you never have any type of transparency with yourself, like you just say, "Oh, I'm alright, I'm fine." Like, when people ask you how you're doing, there's like a status quo, like, or like a requirement to say that you're okay or you're good, because you just want to protect yourself. Like, a lot of people preach like, "Yo, yeah, say you good," because you don't want everybody in your business. You don't want people to see that you down. Like, just say that you're good. Be a stone brick. Like, yo, if I'm not okay, I'm like, I exercise that way more. When people ask me like, am I okay? I'll be like, if I'm good, I'll be like, yeah, I'm great. But if I'm not, I'll be like, not really, And then this is something that I learned too, because I like to voice how I feel. I sometimes speak a lot, maybe sometimes too much, and I noticed that, like, I'll like go on like a venting session, and somebody will just look at me like, okay, all right. And if it's the wrong person, even if it's somebody that showed like they're open to you, you still have to exercise a certain level of emotional intelligence, kind of like reading the room, because you don't want to just like lay out all your issues and all your problems to a party that may be a little biased and say, well, it's okay, you just do this, you'll be fine, when you may not be. So being transparent with yourself on, okay, can I fix this myself? Do I need to talk to anybody about this? Let me try and figure it out myself before I just like make it an extreme problem. And a lot of times, a lot of issues that we have can be solved with simple tools. Like, a lot of people, something that I learned as a man, growing up in very difficult situations, I learned that a lot of issues that people have are money problems. Like, a lot of problems that we have growing up in life, because of the day and age, like in 2023, the things that we go through is like money problems. Like, and it could be solved with money or love. It's one of the two. It's usually the two. It's either money or love. And it can be a plethora of things. It can be, loving yourself, maybe loving someone else, or someone loving you that you would like to receive love from. Maybe love at your job or your workplace. Maybe love from the people, just the world around you, your environment. It's a lot of simple things. Exercise, what I'm saying? Maybe you want to get in shape. Maybe you want to start eating better. Maybe you want to start reading or doing all these things that you may want to start to like building yourself. Like, that's stuff that I learned like that are basic, what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have to worry about certain things, you may be stress free, or you may be able to just live in a better way. And once again, you have to be transparent with yourself. Like, is this really an issue, or am I just making it an issue? You know, and also being transparent with somebody else, ask them their advice. But once again, use emotional intelligence, read the room. Is this my what do you think about this? How do you feel? How do you feel about this topic or this subject? Do you think I'm tripping? Be transparent with me. Be real with me. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you get an answer that you didn't expect. You know, you may get a nah. I think that's reasonable, or you may be pushing a little bit. So, and don't be afraid of the answer. And a lot of times, because we are God beings, you know, if you align with God daily, and if you are a righteous person at heart, or you strive to be a righteous person, and you're looking to improve your life, a lot of times, because you're looking to improve your life, you're going to get guidance, because that's the way the world is. The world guides you to being whatever you want to be. So if you want to be a great person, your gut and the things that you're looking to improve on, you're going to get signs. You know, you may not act on all of them, but you may, you know, you're going to get like signals. You know what I'm saying? Same goes for when you're doing bad stuff, because I've lived on both sides of the spectrum. You know, I was not always a person that looked to improve their life. I was somebody that was very destructive in nature, that looked to tear down things, you know, and at one point I was just like blind to my actions. And when I wanted to get something, it was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. How can I do this? And I would look for a way to do a terrible thing, and I would find the way to do a terrible thing. So I had to start being very real with myself. Like, okay, as I look to improve myself, what are ways that I could like exercise this? And that took me getting out of my comfort zone, like, and going to people and being transparent with people that I was never transparent with before. Maybe people that I hurt, maybe people that, you know, were uncomfortable to talk to because of the truth that they may lay out. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad that I had this conversation. Or maybe I was like, dang, why did I have this conversation? Like, it's you cannot ever really control the way a conversation goes unless you exercise some form of intelligence and you lead with the right, how could I say, the right questions. You know, you can't control the answers, but that's the only way to control where the conversation goes. Have the questions, have the objective, have the reasoning behind why you're doing what you're doing. And if it's righteous in nature, because that's what type of time we on over here. You know, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not teaching you how to go destroy something. I'm teaching you how to build and how to connect and how to be exactly what God truly intended us to be, how to contribute to society, how to be a better example, how to grow, how to be caring, loving. And that's really where we're at in this life. So that's personally where I believe everybody should be at. That's where I'm at. So that's why I'm gonna teach you from that perspective. That's a moment of transparency. So all of that to say, tying everything together, be as transparent with yourself as you can, and when being transparent with other people, have some form of intelligence so that you don't just open up your heart to a bunch of, like, how can I say, destruction, you know. And here's something as well, here's another jewel. When people are transparent with you, know that there's a certain level of trust that is being exercised, because it takes a lot in today's day and age. I don't care who you are, unless you like a triple OG, like a grown, like a person that's like that and seen a few generations, 2 or 3 generations, and they're just 100% raw. You can't stop transparency in that. If they don't like something, they're gonna tell you they don't like it. If they like something, they're gonna tell you that they like it. So from that perspective, I can't really speak for all the way for them because I'm not that age. I'm I'm still I'm still in a, still spring chicken. You know what I'm saying? So I would honestly say, or I would say a spring flower, spring love, spring life. I gotta make up a new saying, but all of that to say, y'all, just exercise transparency. But when you exercise transparency, do it with intelligence, and monitor yourself. I would say the best place to start is to write it down. The best place to start any type of transparency with, like, I recommend in a journal. Make it a nice book too, you know what I'm saying? Like a really nice one, so that you care about it. Like, it's having a diary, yo, that ain't girly at all, son. Yo, don't get it twisted. Having a diary or having a journal is magnificent. Some of the greatest minds solved mysteries of the world and left them behind for other people to have because they wrote a diary or a journal, maybe on a journey on their way to somewhere during a certain moment in their life and experience a time. It's vital because words survive. You write something down, and if it's kept in a safe place and if it's taken care of, it can change the world. It can save lives, save souls, and it could also be the opposite. So it's like, be wary of, like, how not wary, be aware of how magnificent having a journal can be. That made me, how could I say, like, identify so much of my issues and problems. Like, I used to smoke and drink a lot. I still have certain things that I go through, but that I used to go through a lot. I used to drink and smoke a lot. I used to, what's the term again? Just like just compensate and just try and, I don't like, I forgot exactly the term, but like I used to stress and do things in response to that stress that was just like not valid. So yeah, that was a big issue. And I started to identify the times that I would do it, why I would do it, the people I was around that would do it with me, or that would induce these things. So I learned how to cancel out a lot of things that I just didn't need to do with journaling. So figure that out, get that done, and I'll definitely put up what's it called, like a video on how to journal, or ways that I believe is healthy. You can use my strategy if you want. And yeah, so as you continue to grow, as you continue to build yourself and evolve, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be times like where you're changing your life, you're doing something good, and something just hits you like bow. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be like, yo, I was doing so good, like what happened? And it's like, you just got to keep going. You just got to keep pushing. And when you keep pushing, it's like you'll be tested multiple times, like if you really want it. And if you do, you'll keep going. So yeah, y'all, I hope that this helped somebody, and that you got something out of this video that truly helped you to grasp transparency, the concept of being transparent, and how healthy it can be for you in your life. And hopefully that it will not only improve the relationship with you, but some relationships outside of you, right? So yeah, hit the subscribe button if you if you want to hear more, see more, hit that notification bell, like the video, I really appreciate that. And comment, maybe your thoughts and how you feel, maybe something you want to be transparent about, you know what I'm saying? So exercise that. Stay blessed and less stressed. Peace.